Today we're going to be focusing on the Philippines. So we're appealing for you to pray for the Philippines. The Philippines Value Education Program, our ministry partners in the Philippines, are going into the local public schools and doing values education for 45 minutes. In some cases, each day in every classroom. Where as many volunteers as are able to go into the classrooms and to the elementary schools or to the high schools. It just depends on the number of volunteers that we have. They're going into the public schools and they're sharing the gospel. They're sharing biblical principles and concepts and biblical stories as part of the values education curriculum that the Philippine government has approved, and we are actually approved to go into every local public school in the Philippines. And so we're excited about this. But what this means is we've got to pray. We need you to join us in prayer for, I have a list for you. And so first of all, we want to pray for the leadership of the Philippines Value Education Program. They've got a huge mountain to climb. They've already trained over 4,000 volunteers. They have close to 2,000 or 3,000 active volunteers. They've got many coordinators of those volunteers. And then they also, are navigating all the relationships with the principals and all the government officials as well as they're going to schools. They're being respectful and informing all the appropriate people in and around that town, that village, and they're just doing an amazing job. So we want to pray for the leadership, for wisdom, discernment, that they would continue to submit to the Holy Spirit and continue to walk in the light. Secondly, we want to pray for more coordinators of these volunteers. It is a huge challenge to continue to motivate, coordinate. Volunteers can get sick, and so then maybe, who can teach in that school? Who are the kids familiar with? Are they able to get there? And so working that out. In many cases, these coordinators are sometimes pastors who are also doing this because they feel called to do this as well as pastoring and shepherding and teaching and evangelizing in their communities. And so this is a great outreach for them as well. We've got buy-in from across denominations, so it's just an amazing work. And thirdly, I want you to pray for the volunteers themselves. I've heard some of their transformative stories about how teaching in the schools and doing values education and how it's impacted their lives and how they've grown spiritually and how the church has grown in response to that as well. And so pray for the volunteers. I want you also to pray for the students that they would be responsive as they hear these biblical stories, as they hear about Jesus, that they would open their hearts and not turn away and not harden their hearts, and that they would be open and respond to the gospel. And as the kids respond, I want you to also pray for the churches, because these new believers, they're going to need to get plugged in somewhere. And so pray for these churches that they'll be able to receive them, that there'll be enough leadership and supervision and discipleship in these churches that they're going to be able to take on this new influx. And we've seen churches just blossom where volunteers have gone into the school and where there's been great coordinators, and it's just been a great transformative work in the community and in the churches themselves. They're growing because of these students, and they're seeking more truth and more teaching and biblical community, and it's just been very beautiful. So I want you to pray for the students. Then there's we have an opportunity to go into every public school in the Philippines, and so that means we just need more volunteers, more coordinators, more finances as well to help with the coordinators, in particular the administration, as far as overseeing these thousands of volunteers. So we're going to pray for more finances for the expansion of values education from these volunteers. And lastly, I want you to pray for the Philippines in general as a nation. Pray for their leadership, the internal struggles that are happening. The Philippines has over 7,000 islands. It's multiple people groups. There's 88 languages or so, and so it's a very diverse climate as well. And so as each of these different islands that they'll be teaching in, these new coordinators, new volunteers, is going to require a lot of work, a lot of hard work. So if you could just pray for the Philippines in general, that it would be stable so that we can continue to do this work, that God would continue to show favor to the Philippines Value Education Program, that we would continue to grow and reach deep, deep, deep into the heart of the Philippines. So we thank you for your prayers, we thank you for your support, and we look forward to updating you of the many, many testimonies that will be coming out of this. Thank you.